I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live. I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite. If that's the deal, I was born to ride. Out of Tampa to Miami, Daytona, Tallahassee, from the East Coast to the West Side, here in Florida, we were born to ride. I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live. I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite. If that's the deal, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is brought to you in part by 866 Law Friend. Ride safe, ride smart. Offices in Palm Harbor.
When do you crave refreshing iced tea? Twisted Tea wants to know. The next time you want that same satisfying refreshment, but with a kick, grab a Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea, the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea with a kick.
Thanks for tuning in, Born to Ride. This week it's off with Jim Miller on the road to North Carolina, where he joins up with Neil Bailey as they visit the Wheels Through Time Museum, where we get up close and check out two truly antique motorcycles, a 1917 Henderson and a 1912 Harley-Davidson. You don't want to miss this. It's all coming up right here, right now, only on Born to Ride.
Don't miss Born to Ride Radio. Tuesday nights, 7 to 11 on AM/FM 24/7. That's Born to Ride Radio.
Hey, this is Willie. You're watching Born to Ride TV. Right on.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller with another edition of On the Road. Today I'm up here at the Wheels Through Time Museum in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, looking at some of these fine old machines that you see here. I have a great time every time I come up here. And my buddy Neil Bailey is up here someplace writing an article for the museum and for some of the national magazines. So I'm going to try to find him and see what he's up to.
Doing great. Hey, I was up in the area here and I thought I'd stop by. What are you working on?
I don't remember last time we were here, Dale was riding around on that 1917 Henderson. Well, I started doing a little bit of research here, and basically that four-cylinder motorcycle belonged to a gentleman by the name of Maldwin Jones. And in 1917, Maldwin Jones tried to break the 24-hour endurance record on that bike. Somewhere in the night, riding on one of the old 2-mile board tracks up in Cincinnati, Ohio, he crashed, burned. I don't think he destroyed the bike, but it was pretty bent up. Anyway, about that time, there was another famous road racer by the name of Alan Bedell. But at that time, I'm sure you must have heard of Cannonball Baker. Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run, yeah.
I'm sure everybody's heard of the Cannonball. Well, Cannonball Baker actually owned the transcontinental record. And if my research is correct here, in 1914, he did it in 11 days and 12 hours. So in 1917, while Maldwin Jones was crashing his Henderson, Alan Bedell was out beating Cannonball Baker's record. And he did it in 7 days and 16 hours. Close to 80 years later, Dale found Maldwin Jones's bike, which was in quite a bad state of repair, with a good friend of his, Steve Huntinger, who's a famous California restoration expert. They brought this bike back to life, and 80 years to the day, Dale rode from Los Angeles to New York on Maldwin Jones's original 1917 Henderson and broke the transcontinental record. And according to my notes again, he went across America in 6 days, 1 hour and 22 minutes, ending up on the Al Roker show, public television. And it's just the most incredible story. And the bike is downstairs, it's in the museum, and if you like, we could go and have a little bit of a more detailed look at it.
I'd love to take a look at that, and I'm sure the people watching would like to see it in detail. Maybe we can even get Dale to start it if we're lucky.
Yeah, the Henderson's right over here, Jim. Well, here we are, Jim. This is a 1917 Henderson. This is the actual bike that Maldwin Jones rode in the 24-hour endurance attempt back in 1917.
This is beautiful. Now, didn't you say that it had burnt or something like that?
In the night when Maldwin Jones was making his record, obviously they had to go under lights, and somebody moved the lights. They thought they were trying to help him, and he drove off the board track and crashed and burned the bike. Being a 24-hour endurance racing bike, there were other modifications made. If you notice, the shift levers over here have all been modified down so that when the rider was on it and he was kind of in a lay-down position, rather than having big road-style cumbersome levers, he would have these shorter levers.
Hey Jim, how you doing? Glad to have you back at Wheels Through Time.
Good.
I see you're checking out the 17 Henderson.
Beautiful.
You know,
I was just asking if it still ran.
You know, this is Maldwin Jones's bike. He crashed this on a board track in Cincinnati in 1917, and the bike laid up for about 70 years. My friend Steve Hunsinger restored the bike, and I rode it from LA to New York in 1997, and I'll be glad to start it for you. It's really,
Great.
It's really a powerful machine. It's 61 cubic inches, and the really interesting thing about the engine, it only holds 1 quart of oil in the engine, transmission, and the clutch. Thank you very much.
Dale, can you tell me why you started that with the rear tire like that?
Well,
so you put it into gear and...
It has a Kickstarter, but it's fairly fragile, and I start this bike quite a bit, and it pops over real easy at the back wheel in second gear, so it's kind of just become a routine, and it's really good exercise, too.
And it's so, I mean, I suppose with that Kickstarter being nearly 100 years old, you just want to try and preserve
I try to preserve that Kickstarter, that's correct.
Tell us a little bit about this engine. It's an inline 4-cylinder. Is this unique for the period or for...
Well, the Henderson brothers developed this engine in 1912, and in 1917 they perfected a 3-speed transmission. And with that 3-speed transmission, it was able to traverse all kinds of roads and all kinds of geography. And in 1917, Alan Bedell chose the Henderson motorcycle to attempt the cross-country run from LA to New York, which he succeeded doing in 7 days and 6 hours. And this particular bike was the famous Maldwin Jones factory-built 24-hour endurance bike, but this is the choice of machines that I did when I rebroke Alan Bedell's record in 1997. So I've added a few things to it. I've added the lighting, which is a little 12-volt lost battery affair, a little small front brake, and of course I've added the battery box and a little toolkit on this side. Some of the other special features that go back to the Maldwin Jones era are the quick fill tanks, probably the first machine I've ever seen with quick fill tanks. It has low shifters, so being in a prone position, and you'll see it has an additional foot peg back here to get tucked in. Probably the most significant advancement to the bike, though, was the big side draft intake manifold. A standard 1917 Henderson has a little small manifold, and the carburetor sits in the back. Well, on this Maldwin 24-hour endurance bike, to increase the speed, they needed more carburation. So they added this big side draft manifold and carburetor. In fact, this is the only Henderson known that has such an arrangement.
What was it like when you were riding it? I mean, in terms of compared to a modern bike or in modern traffic?
Well, the bike is actually pretty zippy and the brakes work fairly well. However, it is low horsepower, so in windy conditions, you really have to tuck in to keep speed up. Fuel mileage would range anywhere from 30 miles a gallon to 60 miles a gallon, depends on the wind. I tried to average about 50 miles an hour, although the bike I've had it up to 86 miles an hour. It's a little snaky at 86.
How many miles a day or how many hours a day would you actually have to ride? Because you did the record in 6 days and 2 hours.
Well, the first day out was the longest day. We left the museum in Southern California in Los Angeles at 11 o'clock on, I believe it was a Saturday morning, and we made it all the way to Flagstaff by 9 o'clock that night, and that's about 600 miles. So that was the longest day, and subsequently we tried to keep up 500 miles a day, stopping for just a bite to eat and go. We were able to motel every night, so it wasn't an all night on the side of the road as Alan Bedell had done in 1917. But it was a very challenging thing to do. I put modern tires on it for a little more tractability and a little more reliability. But all in all, the going was really well on the trip.
And the only problem you had was a flat tire.
Had one flat tire in Pennsylvania on a 2-lane road on a big sweeping downhill, and I was trying to figure out which way I wanted to lay the bike down, and I managed to keep it up and repair the tire on the spot and continue on.
What a great testament to your engine building skills here.
Well, I can't take credit for that. Steve Hunsinger built the motor.
You could take credit for that. So Steve built the motor.
Well, what do you have new this time? You got any new bikes?
Well, actually, there's some pretty interesting things that have just cropped up. I just got back from the big antique bike meet in Ohio. I found some really rare trinkets there. But probably the most interesting thing is a 1912 Harley that just turned up 2 years ago in an upstairs attic in Decatur, Illinois, and this is a 1912 Harley-Davidson twin. It's Harley-Davidson's second year for their 2-cylinder motorcycle, a real remarkable piece of achievement. But really the interesting thing is the motorcycle has been sitting for, I think, about 55 years, and I've just got it to the point where I'm prepared to start it. So in a little while, we're going to roll.
You've got it right here at the museum?
Yeah, I worked on it the other night and kind of unraveled a few issues with it that when it had been put together 50-some years ago, and I'm going to get the bike started today, hopefully, if all goes well.
Can we go take a look at it?
Yeah, it's back in the shop.
All right, let's go.
Okay, cool.
On Sunday, May the 25th, it's the party not to miss. It's Uncle Mike's Smokehouse Grill's Plant City Grand Opening, Biker Bash, and Battle of the Bands. There'll be a Born to Ride 10-class custom and ride-in bike show sponsored by Paradise Power Sports with a $500 cash payout from 866 Law Fran. There'll be a bikini bike wash and the best burnout contest. There's vendors and much more. Your MC will be Showtime Sharpie, and Born to Ride will be there TV taping and doing a magazine shoot. Proceeds to benefit the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. This is a party not to miss on Sunday, May the 25th.
You've been involved in a motorcycle accident. I'm the biker on your side. I'm Fran Hosh, your attorney that rides. Motorcycle accidents get my experience, personal attention. And there are no fees, no costs, unless you win. I've dedicated my career to helping accident victims and their loved ones. Your rights are my fight, and I'll never settle for less than you deserve. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, please call me at 866-LAW-FRAN or log on to lawfran.com.
Find us on Facebook, Born to Ride TV and magazine. For over 18 years, the ultimate multimedia biker experience.
Venom Custom Choppers and Bar and Grill. 2 locations, Newport Richey and Hudson. Every month in Hudson, it's the Customer Appreciation Party, 3rd Sunday of the month. This is the new Destination Ride Party location. It's the #1 collision repair for your motorcycle. Min will get you back on the road as soon as possible. Venom Custom Choppers, Bar and Grill. And remember, Attorney Fran Hosh says, always ride safe and ride smart. 866-LAW-FRAN.
Budweiser Black Crown and Born to Ride presents The Landing Bar and Grill's Tuesday Night Bike Night, emceed by J-Rod. Music all night, bike games, contests, vendors, $3 twisted teas, happy hour every day. Don't miss it. The Landing Super Tuesday, Born to Ride TV taping on Tuesday, May the 27th. Sponsored in part by 866-LAW-FRAN. The Landing Bar and Grill in Valrico off of Lithia Pinecrest.
So this is the 1912, Dale. When did Harley-Davidson start making these 2-cylinder engines?
Well, actually, this 1912 is Harley's second year in production for their twin-cylinder engine. They did prototype in 1909, but it was not successful. In 1911, they developed the twin-cylinder engine with a belt drive, and in 1912, they introduced the chain drive, which really made the bike a lot more tractable on highways and roads. And it's really an interesting bike. The mystery of the bike was after it was stored over 50 years ago, there was some things done to it that disabled it from running. So it's really been a great mystery to kind of unravel all of these little things that were wrong with it. So I've got this intake valve spring, and if I put this intake valve spring in and add some gas to it, this machine actually should start and run.
So tell me exactly what you're doing here at this point, Dale. That spring is...
I had really worked on these intake valves to make sure they were operating properly. And what I found was this intake pocket had been improperly installed, allowing no fuel to go to the front, which would keep it running maybe on 1 cylinder. But the ignition problems that it had would have kept the bike from running at all. So this should really be interesting. I'm going to put the spring in it, which is really a pretty simple procedure. Not much for valve springs in those days. And put a little oil up on the rocker arms. That was your standard method of lubrication. I'm going to put some gas in it, and I think we've got a good chance this machine will just start right up. The really unusual thing about this motorcycle is it's virtually a brand new motorcycle. When you pull these spirals down and look at how the controls are, if you look at the condition of the motor and the parts that actually wear on an engine, this machine shows no discernible signs of wear anywhere. This little device here is a carburetor tickler, so when this thing starts dripping gas here, that would mean the carburetor is full and the bike should be ready to start. The controls are really quite simple. It's a single speed, so it's got a hand clutch that's built into the rear wheel, and there's the dripping, I believe. There's the drip. So,
would this have come polished, or is this something somebody
no,
did?
when this bike was restored at one point, this was originally nickel plated, and somebody has chrome plated some parts, which doesn't help the bike, and I think that's probably the reason my friend Barry was able to buy it at a fair price. And I think a lot of people were afraid that it had been tinkered with to a point where they weren't interested, but I think what they overlooked is that there's no discernible wear on the bike, and the bike is virtually a brand new 1912 Harley-Davidson motorcycle. When I looked this bike over initially, I looked at all the things that were right with it and discounted the fact that it had an amateur paint job and some of the plating was wrong, because, like I said, the bike shows no wear on the sprockets or chains or pedals or any of the parts. It does have a great big dent on the front pipe. Maybe the guy crashed it on the first go-around and said, that bike is not quite what I want in transportation, and parked it. But in any case, let's find out if it'll start.
This would have been a bit of a fearsome beast in 1912.
In 1912, this is a 1,000cc bike. It was advertised to go 69 miles an hour. And, you know, the bikes I've ridden that are similar will quite well do 69 miles an hour. Shall we?
So what's the procedure here?
Well, we've already got the carburetor tickled, so we're going to operate the decompression, which is this lever right here, and that opens up the exhaust valve, standard throttle, and the procedure is to pedal like heck until the engine is spinning freely, drop the compression in, and hopefully it'll start. And here we go, first time in 50-some years.
So you're actually going to try to ride this bike now?
You know, I think that with the motor turning the way it is and it's running great, I've got air in the tires, which I did yesterday. I think this bike would be capable of taking a little putt in the grass out there. I think let's
give it a shot.
Let's go out and see what it'll do.
All right.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Take the trip of a lifetime, the Sturgis Rally in South Dakota. Ride the majestic Black Hills. Ship your motorcycle with 4D's Trucking, leaving July 29th. They can help you with travel, hotel, and even riding tours when you get there. They'll even ship your tent with your motorcycle so you can camp out. So call now to take the trip of a lifetime, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. 352-208-3814.
I've been representing accident victims for nearly a decade, and I've always wanted an office where my clients would feel comfortable and welcome. I'm attorney Fran Hosch, and I've also always been a fighter, never backing down to any insurance company or their attorneys when it comes to representing my clients' rights. Let me deal with the insurance company so you don't have to. If you've been injured in an accident, please call me at 866-LAW-FRAN or log on to lawfran.com.
Johnny G's Bar, Lakeland, Highway 98 North. Thursday night bike night, brought to you by Paradise Power Sports. Every Thursday night, open jam. Let's see what you've got. Born to Ride TV taping Thursday, May 22nd. That's Johnny G's Bar, Lakeland, Highway 98 North. Thanks for tuning in to Born to Ride today. I'm happy to have Mike Tolley here. Uncle Mike's, man, Smokehouse and Grill. And tell you what,
Everybody knows about Uncle Mike's Smokehouse and Grill. They've done so much for the biker community, so much to give back to charities. And you know what? We're having a big event. You only have one chance to do this type of event, Mike. It's your grand opening bash, man. It's the grand opening of Uncle Mike's Smokehouse and Grill in Plant City location. We're really excited to be a part of this. It's going to be a big event, Mike.
We're glad to have it. We're glad you're helping us host it. It is our grand opening of Hog Heaven. That's the Biker Pavilion. It sits over across the creek on the wooden bridge there at Uncle Mike's Smokehouse. Plant City, corner 39 and 60. 11 acres. There's lots of woods and trees and a small creek and outdoor activities. It's just a neat area. It's really, really biker friendly. My wife and I are on property almost every single day. We love hanging out there. We've got a lot of the community support. It's a great destination ride. The food, I can promise you, is awesome. The service, we've got great staff out there. They're well trained. We've been open for about 9 months now. There's a lot of activity going on. We've got bikini bike wash. We've got a dunk tank. We've got a great bike show going on. Ron's going to give away $500 in cash. We're getting great support of the local community. There's lots of clubs and biker organizations are going to be there. Cycle Stop, Plant City favorite. They're right there. They got 2 locations now, one in Brandon and one in Plant City. Of course, Lakeland Harley Davidson. We've got Sky Power Sports and a big supporter through some stuff for us for the bike show, Fran Hosh, and of course Paradise Power Sports. Those guys are all going to be on site. Lots of bikes going to be showing up. They're going to bring some of the new stuff from the Indian group's going to be there. Victory's had a large presence. So we're really expecting a lot of turnout from all the different bike groups, a lot of different bands. Of course, we've got Gringo, Unforgiven, the Sammy Davis Jr. Band, and One Eyed Mary. It's a biker bash with a battle of the bands. Lots of live music. It's going to go 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be great weather. It's an awesome day. We're looking forward to it, Ron.
Now, Mike, you're on the cover of Born to Ride magazine this month, and you know what? What a wholesome cover that is. You got the horse, you got the bike, you got your son and your wife, and you. A great family business. We really appreciate you being a part of this.
Well, it's a good opportunity for us. Ron, we've shared a relationship for many, many years. When it comes to us finding a publication that can give us the return, that can bring us the people, you deliver what you promise. You know, there's lots of avenues between publications, the website, and Born to Ride TV. It really does what we need it to do. We're glad you're there. We're glad that we're on the television, we're on the magazine. It's going to be a great party.
Now, we're excited too, and you know, you can check out the Born to Ride magazine, the centerfold, the cover story. But there's another cool part of this is Finn's Fine is doing a ride all through the southern of Hillsborough County into Manatee to come up to this event. So if you're watching this, check it out. Come out and check out this ride. But you know, we've had events at this location before when there was thousands of bikers there. Mike was involved back then too. Thousands of motorcycles. We're expecting thousands of motorcycles again. This is the place to be on this particular day because this is a real deal biker destination. I'm calling you out, people. Ron Galletti, Mike Dolly, calling you out to come to this party. And you know what's another good thing about this party, guys? We're giving back again, Mike, to a great charity. We're giving back to the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. Now, how important is that, Mike?
You know, a lot of people don't know what the Youth Ranches does. It's not just boys. It's boys and girls that have come from broken homes and troubled homes. They take them out to the ranches. Sometimes this is the only home they've ever known or will know before they become adults. So it's a great training opportunity to give them good traits and good habits to become responsible adults, give back to the community. So we're going to have about 40 volunteers from the Florida Sheriff Youth Ranches. And these are all different counties. Now, I know David G plays a big part in what's going on. Wayne Witzak's a good personal friend of mine. He does a lot of stuff for the youth ranches. He's going to be out there. Again, he's bringing 40 volunteers. We're going to make sure there's a huge presence, and we're going to give back a lot of exposure, time, effort, and of course money.
And we're proud to be a part of that. We sponsor them at Born to Ride magazine every month, and we're giving back at this event because Mike felt it was so powerful to give back to the Sheriff's Department in the respect of the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. We're helping our future. We're helping children be productive citizens. And did we tell you about the $500 cash? $500 cash from Fran Hosh, 866-LAW-FRAN. We're giving away $500, and we're going to spread it around in this bike show. Paradise Power Sports. My buddy Rock's going to be there, and they're part of this bike show as well. So, I mean, Battle of the Bands, bike shows, great food, great camaraderie, giving back to charity. like I said, we're calling you guys out. If you haven't been to Uncle Mike's already, this is the real deal biker destination, people. Is there any last words?
Well, I can tell you, coming from a former Marine, I want to invite out all my military guys. Remember, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's Sunday. You got Monday with the family. You come spend Sunday with us. Support the Florida Sheriff Youth Ranches. Come see what Uncle Mike's has done in Plant City. We look forward to you being there.
That's right, and also, we're going to put you on TV because we're doing a Born to Ride TV taping. We're going to be shooting for the magazine. Born to Ride puts your pictures in the magazine because we cover events, and we show what's going on in the biker community. So if you come, we're looking for you. Our cameras will find you, and we'll see you at Uncle Mike's because it's the grand opening, man. This is a one-time deal, Mike. You only get it one time. The grand opening, Uncle Mike's Smokehouse and Grill and the Hog Heaven, Sunday, May 25th. Bring it.
All right, Ron, one more last shout out. Calling out all the bikers. This is the grand opening. Hog Heaven, Bikers Pavilion, Uncle Mike's Smokehouse, Plant City, corner of 39 and 60, Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Battle of the Bands. I want to see you all there. Thanks a lot, Ron.
On Sunday, May the 25th, it's the party not to miss. It's Uncle Mike's Smokehouse Grills, Plant City Grand Opening, Biker Bash, and Battle of the Bands. There'll be a Born to Ride 10-class custom and ride-in bike show sponsored by Paradise Power Sports with a $500 cash payout from 866 Law Fran. There'll be a bikini bike wash and the best burnout contest. There's vendors and much more. Your MC will be Showtime Sharping, and Born to Ride will be there TV taping and doing a magazine shoot. Proceeds to benefit the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. This is a party not to miss on Sunday, May the 25th.
Don't miss Bike Nights, every night featured in the new Born to Ride magazine. A complete listing of Born to Ride's hottest bike nights for you to check out.
This month's issue features Uncle Mike's Smokehouse Grill's grand opening party on the front cover. And make sure you check out Born to Ride's Page 3 Girl in every issue of Born to Ride magazine. Pick up your free copy today.
Everyone was right, I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
For all those people that are all smartened up talking Kiz, Arnie, and K-Fizz, Abe, they know what's going on.
What you gonna do when Born to Ride runs wild on you, brother?
Hey, Jim, I want to thank you very much for taking in Wheels Through Time today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your viewers enjoyed it. There's plenty here to do and see, and thank goodness old Betsy started for us.
Well, it was really good being here and being in on the first time that this bike has run in all those years. And I have a great time every time I come to the Wheels Through Time Museum.
Jim, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it.
And Neil, I look forward to reading the article about the Henderson in Born to Ride magazine soon.
Stay tuned. It'll be here soon, Jim.
All right. And I'll see you guys next time on the road.